think it's working.
Yeah, I think you're on.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. See you tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. It is great. I gotta make sure I'm looking in the right camera. It is great to have people logged on. We're live, coming to you live from Congregation Shered Zedek. I'm Rabbi Matthew Leibl, and I'm pleased to be back with you again for another Friday night Kabbalat Shabbat service here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. We're excited to have you join us. We know there are some people joining us from all over the world, like Nomi in Argentina, who says Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to you too. And Judy, Yehuda, let me do a quick Erev Tov Shabbat Shalom L'Kulam. Gam L'cha, Yehuda. Sadie's in Toronto. Terry Zed. One day you'll explain Scream to Asai to me, Terry Zed. Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Susan is there. Sandy is there. Oh, it is great to see people logged on, and the numbers are growing. Lewis in the hood, Linden Woods. That is great. Great. Shabbos already, Judge RP, RLP. I wonder what the L stands for. Lewis? Maybe. Yes, it is Shabbos already, and we're ready to go. You on our website, szwinnipeg.ca, you will find all the Sidurim we use for all of our services. There's one link specifically for Friday night. It gets you to a PDF copy of this. Sidur Chadash, a blue covered hardcover book. Sidur Chadash, in case you have one of those in your library, you can use that. We begin with a quick psalm, Psalm 30. In lieu of Mincha, here in Winnipeg, the sun has already set. We're going to do Kabbalat Shabbat because we have a standardized time, and we'll get to the evening service later. But we start with a psalm, and then we will recite the Mourner's Kaddish. So let's get into it. Thank you to everyone for being here. Janet and Hartley. Shabbat Shalom to both of you as well. GMH and Alice and Bill. It's great to see you. We'll see all the names come in. Feel free to join us on Facebook and YouTube and chat away, or just sit back and enjoy if you're watching on the website or on either of those other platforms. You can chat if you want to, but you don't have to. We are thrilled to have you here participating, engaging in whatever way works for you. Page 174 in the Sidur Chadash, Psalm 30. Mizmor shir Chanukat habayit leDavid armim charonai kidi litani velo simach toivai li. Leman yizamercha chavod velo yidom Adonai Elohai leolam odeka. Before we turn to Shabbat, Friday is the 18th day in the Hebrew month of Kislev. And on the 18th of Kislev, we commemorate the following Yortzites at Congregation Shered Zedek. Dr. Roy Brown, Ephraim Fischel ben Yosef, Jaime Cohen, Chaya Kohen, Ruth Gordon, Rachel bat Monis Veshena, Jacob Kleiman, Emily Levine, Adel Halpern Lurie, Ata Idel Bat Yitzchak, Mary Nozick, Samuel Charles Oretsky, Shalom Chaim Ben Aaron, Rose Pashkovsky, Nathan Resnick, Natan Ben Moshe, Sandra Sheila Rothberg, Sarah Bat Shupsa, Beth Wolk, all of blessed memory. If there's anyone with a yortzeit on the 18th of Kislev whose name we have not called out, and you can type it in the chat, please do that so we can read it aloud. We also are remembering from One More Candle, the organization that helps us remember the 1.5 million children who perished in the Holocaust, by ascribing one child's name for every day of our calendar. Today on the 18th of Kislev, we remember Leibl Eisenberg of blessed memory. Also, this past week has been a difficult one here for us in Winnipeg. We honor the memory and mourn the passing of Ruth Matus, Ruth bat Shmuel Ufagel, Irene Odwak, Lucy Lewis, Leibl bat Chaim Umiriam, Justine Steinkopf, Yeshara bat Mordechai Menachem Vehelen, and Izzy Yamron, Israel ben Shmuel Bracha, all of blessed memory. On page 124, we have the Mourner's Kaddish. All those in mourning or observing a yortzeit are invited wherever you are. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach lalam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shmei dekudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Page 22 is where Kabbalat Shabbat begins for us. Page 22 in the Sidur Chadash. Again, if you're just joining us, a PDF version of all our Sidurim is available on our website, www.szwinnipeg.ca. We're using the service, the Sidur, for Friday night, the Sidur Chadash. We begin on page 22. But first, why don't I welcome everybody in? I usually do this right off the top, but I saved it. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Asharet Malachei Elyon Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem leshalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni leshalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seirchem leshalom, malachei ashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei amlachim hakadosh baruch hu. All right, now that we're ready, page 22. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzori sheinu, nekad mafana v'toda. Naria, naria, letzori sheinu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, ladonai. We continue silently the rest of the psalm until 3 lines from the bottom on page 22. Ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol hakol Elohim. And let me quickly welcome Zelda, Barb, and Sid, Rottweiler Boy, Leon, and Eli, who tells us in Hebrew he's in Gillum, Manitoba. Amazing. Stay safe up there in the north. Shabbat shalom, nimsa rachok rachok, bitzfon Manitoba, Gillum. I'm way far, far away in northern Manitoba, but we've got you connected, Eli. That's awesome. And Rottweiler Boy is probably my favorite handle. That one and Scream to a Sigh are both absolutely fantastic. Good vibes from Sarah B. Thanks, Sarah. We could all use them. Hi, Rottweiler Boy. 3 lines from the bottom in this first psalm. Arbaim shana kud bedor v'amaram to'e levavheim vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishbati ve'api im yavon el menuchati. Page 24. Shir l'Adonai, shir chadash, shir l'Adonai kol haaretz. Rochelle is there too. Shabbat shalom. 4 lines from the bottom, page 24. You need to sing your part. I'm talking to you, Rottweiler Boy. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam umelo. Yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam, yihiram hayam umelo. Yalo sadai sadai, yalo sadai sadai, yalo sadai v'chol asher bo. Haziranenu, haziranenu, haziranenu kol atzeiar. Haziranenu, haziranenu, haziranenu kol atzeiar. Lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'amim be'emunato. Page 26, page 26. Adonai malach tagel haaretz. Shabbat shalom, Jerome. Shabbat shalom, Leslie. You don't often chat. I like it. I like it a lot. Phyllis, it's great to see you too. I say Jackie. Did I say Shabbat shalom? Jackie, hope you're up and dancing. Ariel, Shabbat shalom to you as well. What a great crowd we've got going tonight. This is awesome. And Terry Zed, thanks for the story. I'll have to go back and read that a little bit later on. Let's continue through our next selection from Psalms, a little bit of silent prayer, and then we'll pick it up 2 lines from the bottom. Or zaru al tzadik uleishrei lev simcha simchu tzadikim baronai ve'odu lezecher kodsho. Mizmor shir l'Adonai shir chadash ki niflaot asa Hoshi Elohim knows Roa Kocho Hodi Adonai Shabbat. I'm not going to do Zamru tonight. I've got some other musical selections, so we'll keep going through this psalm on page 28 until the second last line. Page 28. Andrea, Shabbat Shalom to you too. Ne'arot. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel betzedek ve'amim b'meisharim. Page 30. Adonai malach yirgezu ami. Page 30. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. I invite you wherever you are, from Gillam, Manitoba to Argentina to Toronto to other places in Winnipeg or wherever else to Victoria, get on up wherever you are. For this last psalm before Lecha Dodi, our tradition is to stand. I want to thank everybody logged on. I keep an idea of how many people are tuned in, and we are in a record crowd tonight, which is an incredible feeling that more and more people are choosing to come back week after week, and that we're finding, new people are finding us. I talk about silver linings of the pandemic, and this ability to connect with people all over the world, to grow our numbers for our services. This service in particular has been truly amazing. So thank you so much for a record crowd so far tonight. Page 34, I invite you wherever you are watching, get on up for this next psalm. And Cyril and Jean, the cell phoneless Cyril. Page 34. Shabbat Shalom to you. Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod ba'oz, Havul Adonai kavod shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod, Hirim Adonai amayim, amayim, amayim rabim, amayim, amayim, amayim rabim. Kol Adonai v'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei alvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon, Vesirion kemo ven remim, kemo ven remim. Kol Adonai chotzev lahavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayechesof יערוד ובהיכלו כולו מרכבות כולו מרכבות כולו מרכבות אדוני למה בו ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום את עמו את עמו בשלום. You may be seated. Turn to Lecha Dodi now. We've really been building up to Lecha Dodi. This is the big moment of Kabbalat Shabbat. You maybe know that, maybe you don't, but hey, here we are. Lecha Dodi, page 38 and page 40. Let me just see. Oh, look at this. Shabbat Shalom. You rock too, Hartley Zeltzer. My man, haven't seen you in ages. Hope you're doing well. I mean, that goes to all of you. So thanks for jumping on the chat there, Hartley. All the best. It's great. It's great to see so many people with us here. Friday night services live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me into wherever you are and for making our virtual congregation something really special, growing week by week, service by service. Page 38, page 40, we have Lecha Dodi. My teacher, our former senior rabbi, our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Alan Green, it was so perfect the way he described Lecha Dodi as the crown jewel of the Friday night service. Shabbat, we imagine, as a bride. You know, Kabbalat Shabbat, Kabbalah, it belonged to the mystics, the guys who lived in Sfat in the hills of northern Israel, if you've ever been there before. 400 years ago, Friday night, week after week, was a big deal to them, wearing white, running out in the streets, welcoming the Shabbat bride. That spirit of welcoming the Shabbat bride is really what Lecha Dodi is all about. 9 verses. I've got 3 melodies. There are so many melodies for Lecha Dodi. I've got 3 melodies I'm going to kind of weave together to kind of build up to the big moment at the end, the final verse, where we stand for that final verse. We don't face east, we face the door. Wherever the door is, we face the door. We imagine the Shabbat bride coming through. If you've ever been to a wedding, I know almost all of you have. That moment when the bride enters is the moment. So is that last stanza of Lecha Dodi. The bride enters, Shabbat enters each of our homes or offices or cottages or wherever you are. So get ready for that. In the meantime, let's start on page 38. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litila Lecha Dodi Likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machashava techila lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch ha'afecha rav lach shevet be'emek habacha vehu yachamo alayichem la lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Inari me afar kumi, leave she big day tifartechami, al yad beini shai, betalachmi, karvayel nashige Allah. Here comes your part. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Page 40. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech kumiori, uri shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lo tevoshi velo tikalmi, matish tochachi o matemi, bach yechesu aniyei ami, v'nivneta ir al tila. Lecha lecha dodi dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Vayulim shisa shosair, v'rachaku komev alayich, yasis alayich Elohayich, kimsos chatana al kahala la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Yaminu smol tifrotzi, ve'et Adonai taritzi, al yad ish bein partzi, v'nismecha v'nagi la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. All right, here we are. Last verse. This is the one where I invite you, wherever you are, to stand and face the door. And on those final words, Boi chala, we bow. We bow and welcome the Shabbat bride in. Let's start though. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvetzohala, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, lecha 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 dodi likra likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekavela Lecha lecha dodi likra likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekavela la 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 lecha dodi likra likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekavela Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Please be seated. Take a rest. You've earned it after a fabulous Lecha Dodi. Oh. See, the fellas who designed the Kabbalat Shabbat knew that after Lecha Dodi you needed a breather. So they threw two more psalms at the end of the service. Psalm 92, the psalm for Shabbat, and Psalm 93, I think because 93 comes after 92. No, I know 93 comes after 92. I think that's why they chose 93, because 92, Mizmor Shir Liyom Shabbat. Oh, Shabbat. And then they're like, we need one more. You think we need one more? One more? One for the road? One more? Okay. What am I talking about? What is going on here? One for the road? I'm pretty sure the guys who wrote Kabbalat Shabbat didn't say, you think we need one more for the road? You could imagine what it would be like if they did. This is what happens when there's a pandemic and your broadcasting is, even though I know there are many of you watching, start talking to yourself. Anyway, page 44, I usually do the very end of page 42. Psalm 92, page 42. I usually do the very end of it. Today I'm going to do the beginning. An Israeli tune took the beginning. I remember this one from Hebrew school. Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai. ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך. ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך אל עליון. And finally, on page 44, Adonai malach gehud lavesh. Edotecha nemnu meod leveitcha nava kodesh, Adonai leorech yamin. Well, that brings us to the, I'm laughing at some of the comments on the chat. People are very forgiving for my, what would my dad call it? Narishkeit? Probably. That's what he would probably call it. I'll have to ask him next time I talk to him. I appreciate the comments on the chat. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We've reached the end here of Kabbalat Shabbat. We have the evening service coming up in just a minute, Arvit, which will begin on page 50. Before that, though, this is the moment in the Sidur, in the service, where we make that transition from Chol to Shabbat, from regular to sacred, from from the days of the week to Shabbat. And the way we do it here at Shered Zedek is we turn to page 124 and we get ready to recite the Kaddish as we make a change on the calendar. We move from the 18th of Kislev, which was Chol, to the 19th day in the Hebrew month of Kislev, which is this week Shabbat. And at Congregation Shered Zedek, on the 19th of Kislev, we remember the following people. Fanny Eisenstadt, Fea bat Shlomo Zalman, Morris Juravsky, Moshe Ben Zelig, Marnie Caliph, Michal bat Gershon Umalka, Sarah Levin, Sora bat Shimona Bluma, Molly Lubert, Aaron Niddickman, Aharon ben Yechiel Michal, Billy Paul, Basia bat Herschel Tzvi, Max Pierce, Mordechai ben Shimon Dov, Harry Pukin, Yeshua Herschel ben Lazer Verifka, Sham Reutenberg, Shlomo Leib ben Yitzchak Yona Verezel, Cecil Ann Rosenberg, Chana bat Moshe v'Teresa, Harold Schachter, Tzvi Yisrael ben Ruven Uminya, Fanny Siegel, Fagel bat Moshe, Tilly Shapiro, Sivia bat Levi Yitzchak Visosi, David Udo, David Chaim ben Yaakov, Sam Weiss, Shalom ben Yaakov Edora, all of blessed memory. And from one more candle, Shia Adelson of blessed memory. Again, this week in Winnipeg, we've lost a number of people. We remember them, we honor their memory. Ruth Matus, Ruth bat Shmuel Ufagel, Irene Odwak, Lucy Lewis, Razel bat Chaim Umiriam, Justine Steinkoff, Yeshara bat Mordechai Menachem Vehelen, and Izzy Yamron, Yisrael ben Shmuel Ubracha, all of blessed memory. If there's anyone with a yortzeit for the 19th of Kislev whose name we have not mentioned, please type it in the chat. At the same time, I invite everyone in mourning or observing a yortzeit on the 19th of Kislev, please rise and turn to page 124. In a moment, we'll recite the Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach lalam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam arab amin shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, v'yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. If you were standing for the Kaddish, I would ask you to remain standing, and everyone else, I would ask you to rise, because Mariv, or Arvit, both names acceptable for the evening service, which begins on page 50, page 50. Our Mariv, Arvit, always begins with the call to worship, the Barchu. We stand, we face east, and we use a special nusach, a special tune, on Shabbat to bring in the Shabbat. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. We continue in silent prayer until we get to the words Uma'avir Yom. Umavir yom umevi laila, Umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. Hamari v'aravim. Page 52. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amchavtam. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam balayla, ve'ahavatcha tasir mimenu lolamim. Baruch atah Adonai. Ohev amo Yisrael. Let's cover our eyes, and on page 54 we can join together in Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'ayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha ve'ayu letodafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha. Please continue silently on page 56 with the second paragraph of the Shema, and on to page 58 with the third and final paragraph of the Shema. And then we'll pick it up with the last three words on page 58 where it says, reader. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 60. Emet v'emunah kol zeh v'kayim aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu v'nzu atu v'nach Yisrael amo. Getting ready for Micha Mocha. I haven't done the Sol Zim Micha Mocha in a little while, but I think I'd like to do it tonight. Sol Zim has a whole theme for Mariv on Shabbat that goes like this. And so Sol Zim, wonderful chazan, wonderful composer, he works this theme into Micha Mocha here, halfway down page 60. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot osefele Machurcha ra'uv anecha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Machurcha ra'uv anecha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot osefele zezeli anu ve'amiru Adonai Leolam voed Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot osefele V'ne'amar kifar Adonai Yaakov Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Yadadai dadai dadai yadadai dadai Yadadai dadai dadai yadadai dadai Yadadai dadai dadai yadadai dadai Ga Yisrael. Page 62. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. 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 Skip down to 3 lines from the bottom, page 62. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim ushalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. V'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Skip down to where we left off when we jumped down, and we'll pick it up from there. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai haporeh sukat shalom aleinu Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen, amen, amen. I'll ask you to get on up. Please rise wherever you are. Vishamru, page 64. Let's say Shabbat Shalom to Barb and to John. Vishamru, B'nai Israel, et Shabbat lasot et Shabbat ledorotam berit olam v'shamru b'nei Israel et Shabbat lasot et Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Israel oti leolam v'shamru b'nei Israel et Shabbat lasot et Shabbat ledorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Israel et Shabbat lasot et Shabbat ledorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Israel et Shabbat lasot et Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Page 66, Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgada, Yitgada, ve'yitgada Shemei Rabbah, ve'amad yivrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'gala, v'gala, u'v'izman kariv, ve'imeru amen, Yehi Shmei Rabba mevorach, le'alam u'la'amei amaya. Yiparach ve'ishtabach, Parvi Roman vinase vitadar vitale vitala Shemei dekudsha brichu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushmechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma b'imeru. Amen. We've now reached at a moment where we can take a few minutes for silent prayer. The Amidah, the standing prayer, the Amidah for evening services is always silent. Shabbat during the week, it's always silent in the evening. A couple of the highlights will be pulled out for the final part of the service. We'll sing them when we finish. But beginning on page 68, with the old opening, just the patriarchs, or 69, more modern, with the matriarchs, the way we do it out loud here at Shared Zedek. Hebrew or English, you can work your way through the Siddur, through this first Amidah of Shabbat. But let me say, as we always say with this Amidah, if the words of the Siddur, Hebrew or English, do not resonate for you, use your own words of prayer. This is an opportunity not to pass up. The Amidah is our own private audience with God. And this is the first one of Shabbat, extra special, so let's make it count. We take a few minutes now for the silent Amidah. And I'll say Shabbat Shalom to Laura, who logged on and said hello. Shabbat Shalom to you, Laura. Make sure you say hi to Ian for me. And we'll continue now with the silent Amidah. Shiva Ruach. Modi manachnu lach shetorna l'Elokei avoteinu l'Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Toshevocha. Well, thank you so much. Some people have probably Shabbat dinners to get to. We've got 10 pages left to get to Kiddush, and we'll start on page 80. Some people have the custom of standing for this. If that's your custom, go for it. Vayechulu. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzavam vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishbot Bayom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa vayavarech Elohim et yom hashvi vayekadesh oto kivo shavad mikol melachto kivo shavad mikol melachto asher bara Elohim asher bara Elohim lasot. Page 82. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avram Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Agado, Hagibor ve'Anora, El Elyon Konei Shamayim, Varetz Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechaye Meitim B'mamaro Ha'el HaKadosh Shein Kamohu Ameniach Le'amo B'yom Shabbat Kodesho Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Kivam ratza le'aniach lahem Lefanav navod b'yirav v'fachad V'nodeh lishmo b'chol yom tamid Mein habrachot el hahodaot Adon, Adon, Hashalom, Mekadesh, Hashabbat, Varech Shevim, Umeniach Bigdusha. Le'amedu shnei oneg zecher le'maaseh Bereshit. Page 84. Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Retzei v'imnuchateinu. Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chalkeinu b'toratecha, sabeinu mituvecha, v'samcheinu b'shuatecha, v'taher. V'taher, it's your part. V'taher, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'taher, 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 v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet. V'hanchileinu Adonai Eloheinu V'avav v'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuchu Yisrael Mekadeshei shemecha v'taher 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 libeinu le'ovdecha ve'emet v'taher v'taher libeinu v'taher v'taher libeinu v'taher v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 86, Kiddush Shalem. Yigadal v'yigadal shemei Rabba be'alma divrach yirteva michmachuteva chayechon v'mechon chayrecho be'Yisrael b'agalav izman kari ve'imeru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'alam u'la'amei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yidromam v'yinaseh v'yidadar v'yidalev v'yidalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'la min kol berach v'shirata tushvechata v'nechamata damiran b'alma ve'imeru Amen. Titkabel tzlot hon uvot hon d'cho Yisrael kodam avon v'shmai ve'imeru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Page 90, Kiddush. Grab your Manischewitz or whatever you are using. Grab your Manischewitz or something stronger, whatever you got. I hope you subscribe to our emails. I just wanted to put this out there. We made a slight typo. There's a correction. Tomorrow, our Shabbat morning service starts at 10, as always. It's a very special celebration for Howie Raber, a member of our congregation. Howie is celebrating his 60th birthday. There's a typo. It's his 60th birthday he's celebrating tomorrow. He's chanting the Haftarah, and it just so happens to be the 47th anniversary of his bar mitzvah. So it's his bar mitzvah Haftarah. He is chanting it. He's chanting the full Haftarah, verses 1 through 21. It's his 60th birthday, and we hope you'll tune in for that as well as the entire service. It's a very interesting Torah reading tomorrow, a part of the Torah that doesn't get talked about very much. Tomorrow's Parsha is Vayishlach, which is where Jacob and Esav reunite for the first time in 20 years. which is where Jacob wrestles with the angel or the mysterious figure and becomes Yisrael. But it's also the story of what happens to Dinah, Jacob's daughter. Not talked about very much. Maybe you read The Red Tent by Anna Diamant. But that is what our triennial cycle reading covers tomorrow, is the story of Dinah and the aftermath of what happens. So we can read that and study that together tomorrow. Howie is there to chant the Haftarah as well and commemorate and celebrate a very special birthday. Looking forward to that. There are a few other celebrations and commemorations along the way. So that is our Shabbat morning service. All I will say, I've talked a lot about Jacob wrestling with this figure. I talked about it on Yom Kippur, on Kol Nidre, because the Midrash says that it happened on Kol Nidre. That was the kind of the connection there. There's lots to unpack about it. I was going to say, I hope you subscribe to our emails. I got to do the uplift video this week, and I just wanted to mention a kind of an idea about waiting and patience, and how technology, which makes this possible, also makes us less patient, I think. And one of the only ways we can get through a tough time like this is to wait. We've been waiting a long time. We'll keep waiting. But I just wanted to remind people that in that episode with Jacob wrestling with the angel, he never actually wins. He doesn't defeat the angel. He just doesn't let the angel defeat him. When the angel tries to get away because the dawn is breaking, let me go, that's how Jacob wins, by just hanging in there. And that's why he becomes Israel. That's why he shows that he's grown. He's demonstrated the maturity. He can now face his brother for the first time in 20 years without deceit or trickery, but honesty, genuity. He doesn't win, but he doesn't lose. And it's not a tie. He hangs in there. Sometimes that is the best you can possibly hope for. It was certainly good enough for Jacob to become Israel. And I think for all of us, we have to make sure where we set the bar. Let's just try and hang in there and not let go. Shabbat Shalom, page 90. Grab your Perry wine, if that's what you've got, like Terry Zed, or your Manny, like me. Manny Shevitz, that is. Let's stand together for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maasev reshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim. B'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim tovim u'shalom. Woo. Jerome, I saw your message. Let's connect later. Howie, don't worry. We'll connect. And for now, let's all turn to page 118. I hope my dear friend Evan is still logged on with us, because I got a little special something here for you, my man. Please remain standing. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu gegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishbechot hadama, shelo samchelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu note shamayim veyoser aretz umoshav yikaro bashamayim imal ushchinatu zo begovhei meromim hu Eloheinu ein od Emet Malkeinu Efesulato, Kakatuv Betorato, Bedatayom, Bedatayom, Beashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hua Elohim. Bashamayim imav ve'al haaretz mitachat ein hod al ken nekava lecha Adonai Eloheinu lirod meheira betiferet uzecha lehavir gilulim min haaretz veha Elilim karot yikaretun, litaken olam b'malchut Shaddai v'chol bnei vasar yikru v'shmecha, hafnot elecha kol rishei haaretz, yakiru v'yedu kol yoshvei tevel, ki lecha tichra kol berech. Tishava kol hashon lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu yichru veyipolu velichvod shimcha yikar yitenu v'kablu chula meto malchutecha v'timloch aleihem meira leolam voed ki amalchut shelcha hi ulo me'ad Timloch bekavod, kakatuv betoratecha, Adonai imloch leolam vaed, v'nemar ve'aya Adonai lemelech kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. Hope everyone was around to check that one out. Let's remain standing and conclude the service together with Mourner's Kaddish. Again, let me say, I'm just so humbled to see so many of you choosing to spend this last hour and a little bit with me on Friday night to bring in Shabbat. It is my favorite service of the week. No disrespect to the other services, but Friday night is so special. And I think part of that is because I never grew up going to Friday night service. I led it at my bar mitzvah, but that was pretty much it. But through the last few years of taking on this service and leading Friday night week after week, I have grown to just absolutely love it. And I think that it's as much the people as the service. So thank you for all of your comments, for all of your chats, even those of you who are want me to wear darker colored shirts and clips in my hair. You know who you are, and I won't forget. In all seriousness, thank you so much. This has been very, very special, and I look forward to it every week. So next week we'll do it. It'll be Hanukkah. Get your latkes, get your dreidels, get your candles, get ready. Between now and then, have a fantastic Shabbat, a fantastic weekend, and a safe and healthy week. We have a custom that for the last Kaddish of the service, page 124, we all stand together and remember that there are many people who have no one to say Kaddish for them. And so we say Kaddish for them together. It's our custom here at Sherad Zedek. And let's do that together. Thank you again, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you next time. Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divrach Hirutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon U'v'yomechon U'v'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'gala U'v'zman Kariv V'imru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'alam Olam Me'al Maya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shmei Dekudsha B'richu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlam araba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael B'imra amen. Shabbat shalom u'mivorach, everyone. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow morning, hopefully, or next time, whenever that is. And stay safe until then. Bye.